The shrinkage is so real, yo. It's crazy. No. At least I don't be getting hot. All the hair on my neck. It's good, y'all. What's up, what's up, what's up? What up, Barrett? Hey, Raya. What's up, love? What's up, Rick? What's up? What's up? Hey, we getting in here. Let's see if Martinez is gonna be on time today. So I've been getting a lot of like DMs, people asking me, they just coming into this conscious thing, and they don't know where to start. They don't know what to research first. A lot of people saying that they go to other pages and they ask questions, and those other pages is like, yeah, I mean, oh, you're not woke enough, or I mean, you a coon, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, I always been like, yo, that's not what I'm about, you know what I'm saying? Because anybody who's like truly honest with themselves with this whole conscious thing, you know, they'll be the first to admit to you that they weren't born like this. Feel me? Like, we didn't just wake up and we was conscious. We all kind of had to find our way into this, whether it be through other people, whether it be through our own experiences that kind of led us into this. Pieces to Sahar. Nugget Sahar says hi. Nugget's in his own little world right now, playing with his blocks. We're gonna leave him like that. So we all kind of found our way into this, however it be, right? And then it was the yearning inside of us that was like, yo, I vibe with this information that I'm receiving, so I want to get more, right? So I kind of touched upon my whole experience getting into this community before. I'll go over it, very briefly, for y'all who haven't, known me that long or talked to me that extensively to know how I got into this joint. So I'm gonna say I was about 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, and I was dating a dude who was significantly older than me, by 8 years. And this person, like, we would have like really in-depth conversations, and like I would literally like skip school and go spend the entire day at his house, and we would just be talking about like extraterrestrials and ghosts and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it all started for me, was just having these in-depth conversations, and realizing that it wasn't just me who was thinking about this stuff, it was other people too, and it wasn't just specific to my age group where we were thinking about extraterrestrials, and we're not the only ones on this planet. So it started really, really super basic for me. Like, I feel like that is like that is like surface level consciousness, right? When you start thinking about of a Islam or comedy. What's up? So I guess Martinez is like always about to be the last one in this joint. I always tell him to turn on your notifications, fam. So I feel like that's like basic level surface stuff, right? Of getting into what was it wasn't called the conscious community back then. It was called conspiracy theory, right? You were conspiracy theory, you were conspiracy nut, da 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 da, right? So we would be talking about it, and he would be telling me, how he had experiences with entities and stuff like that, and Ghost and aliens, basic consciousness. Exactly. So that kind of led me down a rabbit hole. So I started doing like research into extraterrestrials and all these UFO sightings and stuff like that, and trying to make a connection between what does the whole world is experiencing this phenomena. So what is the connection between it all? Like what is the dots between them all? And going into Area 51 and crop circles, and then that started leading me into ley lines, because around this time where I was studying, I was noticing a lot of correlation between the extraterrestrial phenomena and kind of what I want to call spiritual work. And this spiritual work kind of led me into, and I was always, like I told y'all before, like always into different spirit, or at the time religious practices, but spiritual practices. So I was into the crystal thing, and into incense and all that stuff. So finding out how that all kind of tied in with extraterrestrials, I'm like, how the hell is this tying in? And I'm trying to figure out what is the connection here. So then that led me into, and this is around 2008, 2009, that led me into Alex Jones. And anybody who's been in this conspiracy consciousness thing knows about Alex Jones, knows about David Icke, and knows about those dudes at that time, William Cooper and so on and so forth, the Europeans, right? Because at that time, it was strictly Europeans talking about this stuff. It was strictly Europeans talking about, and I feel like we all knew, the government wasn't for us, right? Kanye at the time, probably like 3-4 years before that, said George Bush doesn't care about black people, during Hurricane Katrina. And we witnessed firsthand how, pretty much all the Moors in Louisiana were kind of left out high and dry, or high and wet, I should say. In Katrina, they didn't get no type of aids. They were called refugees, right? Little keywords that now make sense to us, or make sense to me, further along in my studies, why we were called refugees in our own land. Hence Martin Luther King Jr., right? So then going deeper into the conspiracy theories, then I started learning about, the 13 families, the bloodlines, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, so on and so forth. And then how they all had connections. Yes, Nugget. How they all had connections. The crown had the connections to the U.S. presidency, and how all the U.S. presidents were related, how they were all, or mostly all, Masons, including Obama, who was related to George Bush, and now Donald Trump, who's also in that same bloodline. Because to be on the presidency, you have to be a part of that bloodline. So that took me even deeper, and I'm like, holy shit. So I started buying all these books, watching all these YouTube videos and stuff like that, and then learning how all that stuff went into every facet of our life, from the media to pharmaceutical companies, to the medical mafia, to the drug administration, to the war on drugs, to the food that we eating. It just all connected, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. This can't be, this can't be real. You know what I'm saying? So I came to a point where it was cognitive dissonance, and it was at that point in time that I kind of disappeared from this YouTube channel, and I was doing heavy, in-depth research, but still kind of fighting that cognitive dissonance within myself, like that at that point in time where you kind of want to go back, you kind of want to put your head back in the sand, because it's just way too much. Like, you start being that person, that conspiracy person in your family or your circle of friends where, you talking all the crazy stuff and nobody really wants to, hear you out, or everybody thinks you crazy, or, that stage, I'm pretty much all of us have been through that stage. So, so this video goes out to all the people who was just now coming into to this little conscious thing, who know a little bit, but I feel like they don't know. Yeah, Sahar. If you deep into this and you really, speaking the truth, speaking your truth, especially, you're gonna be met with some type of resistance or skepticism from family, from friends, from spouses, whoever, the people that you really hold dear to you, and that stage is ongoing for me. I mean, I feel like at this point in time of my life, like, everybody knows I'm that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, my social media is not filled with nothing about that. More Comedy says, I feel you. I kind of went through a depression when I started studying too, man. They just called me crazy. Yeah, and I feel like, with us, this is our community, right? There's a quote by Dr. John Henry Clark on my Instagram page that basically says, there's only the side that you're on and the side that you're against. And if blood chooses to be on the side that you're against, so be it. And that's the life of a revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Your blood is not going to be on your side. Your blood is going to think you're crazy. Your blood is going to be the first one to rat you out. And that's why you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Like, these type of people, and this is not no, shots at anybody's family or anything like this, but you got to be careful, because it could be your own family, not even just your friends, but your own family that will sell you out. So all of us in this conscious community has that in common, has that, where we go through this type of separation, this type of schism with the close ones around us. But if you are deep into the spiritual side of consciousness, what's up, King? If you deep into the spiritual side of consciousness, and if you deep into the cosmic side, then you know that this is coming. That all of this kind of crumbles. Your whole reality crumbles, basically. Okay, because you start seeing the world in a whole different light, and you can't revert to being on the same vibration as everybody else who doesn't see the world in that light, who continues to be asleep or continues to live in the matrix. Whatever analogy you want to use for it. So this one's out to all those people who keep who keep DMing me, asking me, where do I start, what do I research, what do I look for. And I just want to give key reference points, and not just about the Moors, because as important as that is, because it's on top of the list now for me of importance. But I also feel like if you don't know a little bit about everything else, you can still fall into traps. You can fall into falling for people's BS, basically. People who just now coming into this, 2-3 years, what I'm saying, where, I was 16 years old starting, and I'm 28 now. So, like, it's been quite some time for me. Doing this type of research and speaking like this. So whenever you guys tell me, I'm going through this and this with my family or my friends, I believe you. I've been there. Like, I felt the same way too. More Comedy, not as far as depression, but just like, because I wouldn't say I was depressed, but it was just like a super sadness, maybe like an isolation type thing, where I was just like, like, damn, I can't be the only one. I started with hate, now I'm into love. Exactly. And I feel like we all go through that transition, right? Because at that time I was really, really super heavy and really super aggressive. Like, yo, y'all gotta know about this stuff. Like, y'all are sheep. And my favorite thing was calling people sheeple, and y'all are dumb, and y'all don't know what y'all talking about. You think you know what you're talking about. Kind of like letting this knowledge, feed my ego. Peace, Lexi. Kind of letting this knowledge feed my ego to be like, I'm higher than thou because I know all of this hidden information that you don't know, so you need to listen to me. And it is at this point in time, because this transition, this breakdown of our reality is what forms us, okay? Because it's another battery in our back, to kind of help us grow, because it was at that point in time that I learned how to communicate with people, how to get my message across without becoming condescending, without letting my ego get into it, without, just basically spitting the knowledge on a way that they'll be able to digest it, not coming from a super high, grade level when they're on like a first grade level, you know what I'm saying? Because we have to really realize that these people are still kind of built into this, into this reality where they can't, not they can't, but they're not ready to break out because they don't have those keys, right? Like I said, we all started with a key. We all started with something that made us want to go forth and keep, digging into this conversation. Micah, jeez, here. Made us want to keep digging into this information and try to figure it out ourselves. So we got to give them the opportunity to do the same thing, because if we're sitting there and what's gonna break them into this consciousness thing is the food, right? But we're talking about HARP and we're talking about the Rothschilds. That's not going to be on the same frequency as them. Yep, correct. Learning how to speak on a sleepy more vibration. Exactly, but just not on a sleepy more vibration, but coming into it and connecting dots from where they're comfortable, right? So like I said, if they are all about eating right and being vegan and healthy food and stuff like that, then we use that as our avenue. If they are, worried about, I approach them with food first. But see, not everybody is about the food thing, though. That's the thing. Not everybody, does not want to eat meat. People still want to eat meat, so you move through another avenue. Well, what else do you care about? You care about the environment? Well, here, I got something for you too, and we could connect that with everything else. What else do you care about? Oh, you care about blood diamonds? Well, I got something for you too. We can connect the dots with that. You know what I'm saying? Being well versed and not just coming on the strict, well, we're Moors and you got to learn about the Moors and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are not gonna vibe with that. A lot of people I speak to are into politics. Exactly. Some of this knowledge will destroy you if you're not ready. Facts. So that's why you have to give it to them in small doses. You know what I'm saying? A spoonful of sugar with the medicine, right? Makes the medicine go down. Was that Mary Poppins, I think? Mary Poppins. So if whatever they're into and getting something like politics or getting something like religion is really tricky, because people really like hold fast to that, like dead to us, hold fast to that. I remember I've been talking to my mom about the duopoly for years. It started with the whole Obama thing and how everybody was, all goo goo gaga over Obama. And, I was like, and it was the same people who were saying the government don't care about us, George Bush don't care about us. That's why I don't fault people for not being on a certain frequency of knowledge, especially the energy post 2012. Yes, because we're all like, it pretty much opened the floodgates where now people are more susceptible to accepting this information. So we have to be really careful of how we approach them, because if we don't approach them in the correct manner, we could lose them. So like I said, I was, talking to my mom about Obama for ages, and she didn't want to hear it. And it wasn't until this past election, so that's what, one, two, two terms, 8 years, 9, 10 years now. 10 years, because it was 2008. Talking to her about Obama, and she just now, realized, okay, maybe you right with something is wrong, because she was gonna vote for Hillary Clinton, and I'm like, yo, you crazy, fam, because you voting for either one of them, you're voting for the same person, and had to kind of break down the nasty, dirty, dirty stuff Hillary be into, and this is not talking about Pizzagate or any of the sick rituals that she be into, but just strictly the politics, right, of the Clinton Foundation, and just their entire ties with pretty much politics since they kind of first arrived on the scene, right, with Bill in Arkansas, right? And the laws that he was trying to pass. She a dirty woman. They both are. They both are. But as you kind of grow and you see that she's kind of like the mastermind, right? She's the mastermind behind that whole. She's probably Bill Clinton's handler. I think she's Bill Clinton's handler. King says, but there's an irritation of mine I have when people come into the consciousness of knowing on an elaborate level. People tend to get on a remedial level of topics. We see it on YouTube. What is the remedial level of topics, though? What do you think is a remedial level of topics? Because like I said, everything kind of connects to it. Not kind of, everything does connect to each other. And you can't just go preaching on one certain topic and not know about any of the other topics, because you're going to still fall into the trap. Like nationality, I'm guessing. Negro, black, and colored for me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't strictly keep talking about nationality. And first of all, I don't know how you're going to talk about the Moors and not know about anything else about this stuff, right? But say for sake of argument that you do talk about the Moors and you do talk about your nationality, and this is Al-Marak and stuff like that, but you don't know about HARP, or you don't know about false flags, right? Like this false flag that just happened in Florida. Then you fall into that same trap of, oh, we need gun control now. Oh, we need, take a semi-automatics off of the street, do this and that, when you're falling into the same trap, because this is the same thing that the people set up, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how you can be in this Moorish divine and national movement and, not see that, right? Or not be aware of that, or not know about it, or not know about chemtrails, or not know about, HARP, or about, just any of the stuff. Colorism and gender wars is never ending with no solution. It's mostly one-dimensional when it comes to those topics. So, okay, so that's the topics that you were talking about. Well, see, those things, I can see, yeah. I can see how you're saying that is remedial, because in the grand scheme of things, right? In the grand scope of things, it is. The gender wars or feminism, I'm gonna set that aside, because the roots of it, I feel, have a basis in this whole correcting of the society that we live in, right? Because the society that we live in is clearly a European patriarchy that's dominant, okay? And I don't like using those trigger words, but for lack of a better word, that's the word I'm going to use, the patriarchy, especially the European patriarchy, because Asiatic Moors, so-called black men, cannot be a part of that, because you being so-called black, you're property. You cannot be a part of that. You cannot be a part of that patriarchy. You cannot be chattel Christian property and try to hold some. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Okay, the European male is who has all the power. Nobody else comes before him, not even his woman. Okay, so the root of feminism, I'm gonna say, has validity. However, when it becomes like engrossing, when that's all you're talking about, when you get to the point where you start dismissing every man simply because they have a penis, or simply because they have they have dark skin and the penis, then it becomes a problem. Bastardizes of movements. Yes, bastardizes of movements. How many of them paid attention to the Drip Act how many of them paid attention to anything? This is the thing. We can't expect them to pay attention to things, up until recently, when before they weren't paying attention, right? Because like I said, my thing was pushing that Obama wasn't the savior everybody was talking about, right? That Obama was still a figurehead of the corporation. People were sleepy under Obeezy. Yeah, he was. They were sleepy under Obeezy. Because the same thing that we were mad at George Bush about, right? Obama was able to do it freely. He got the Nobel Peace Prize in his first term as president, yet he was bombing all these countries. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how, and I said that in one of the videos, I went to Facebook jail for calling him gay last week. You're not right, Barrett. Libya, we don't even speak on that. I mean, right. Him and Hillary, right, with Benghazi. And when you speak of Benghazi, when you talk to a regular person, they don't even know what that is, right? Because like I said, at that point in time, during this whole, and it wasn't the consciousness movement back then, it was the conspiracy theory movement, right? Because consciousness movement was I feel like in the 90s, and then it stopped. And then the ones, the millennials or whatever you want to call us, who came up now our label was conspiracy theorists, and there was a gap between, having access to the Phil Valentines, having access to unless you grew up around the people, right? Because now you can go on YouTube and you see all these people, right, reposting their or posting up their interviews and stuff like that. Obeezy with his Dumbo ear ass carried on Bush's foreign policies. Exactly. The Patriot Act, the NDAA. Hey, Hannibal. Much love, Hannibal. So, but again, and Taj touches onto this too, right? How Obama kind of tried to tell us about our nationality, right? With the Constitution based on Muslim law, right? Because it was towards the ends of his presidency, right? So he ain't really had nothing to worry about. So just drop this little gem and bounce, right? Drop the mic and bounce. But again, at the same time, we cannot forget that he still put into place all these things, and this is before the whole Moore thing kind of blew up, right? Because like I said, there was a gap. There's a gap between 2000 and 2008 where we were just kind of we woke up for a little bit during the 90s, then we fell back asleep. And it wasn't until, the whole speculation of the Mayan calendar in 2012 and the world ending, then that's when we started to try and do the research and get back into it, right? So when we woke back up during the 2000s, it was kind of like, all right, we're going to label this conspiracy theory, right? So it's not going to be consciousness, because, right, consciousness means aware. That's all it means. You're aware. Okay, your awareness. So we're going to label it conspiracy, because conspiracy is a whole nother label, right? And conspiracy kind of denotes to it not being fact. Oh, Obama rocked this real back to sleep, but before he left, before he laid us down, right, he whispered something in our ear to get to our subconscious. And this is what people kind of failed, even I failed to realize it until I got deep into this more movement. That I felt, because I was one of the biggest ones. Obama didn't do nothing for our people. Obama didn't do nothing for black people, is what I said. And it's true. Obama did nothing for black people. What he did was for the Moors. I like Trump. He woke up about you gonna get in trouble for that. I like Trump, Barrett. We were on NyQuil. Yeah, we were. We were on NyQuil. And the fact of the matter is, we still are. Because even, like I said, just like with the Morocco, if you remember, the consciousness convo in 2004 was 9/11, but not for everybody. Not for, I can't believe I forgot 9/11, right? Can't believe I forgot that. That was another one that I got. I only seen you post. Oh, they blocking my post. No, they didn't block your. I don't know who's blocking your post. I seen the I loved your review posted. I don't know if you posted anything after that. Anything after that, Hannibal. But maybe you got like a bad monkey on your back for this YouTube thing. But yeah, so I can't believe I forgot about 9/11, because 9/11 was definitely another one of the big propellers that I kept, pushing. 9/11 was an inside job type thing. Before people really got that 9/11 was an inside job, because I was 11 years old when they knocked down the towers, and it wasn't until I was 18, so 7 years later. Anybody who knows me, I'm really bad with math, so excuse me. So 7 years later, that I was able to kind of start formulating my own ideas. I think Kanye kind of gave so-called Black America a conscious wave with Katrina. What are you saying? What are you saying, Hannibal? What are they not letting you say? Sheesh. Let me see here. Let me see. Maybe if I make you a mod, they won't. I'm gonna make Hannibal a mod. See if that. Nah, but use Obama as reference for subliminals for us Morris is great. But here's the thing, right? I made you a mod, Hannibal. So hopefully, that will kind of fix the blocking of your comments. Here's my thing with the whole Obama gave us the gem about the rights of indigenous people. It's again going over the sleepy Moor's head. Been trying to say greetings to all of you. Well, I just made you a moderator, so hopefully that kind of fixes that issue. So here's the problem I have with the whole rights of indigenous people thing, is if you are not aware of this Moorish movement, if you're not aware, I think he had to do that, Obama. Yes, again, because of karmic law, right? I have to go do spiritual work. Okay, Hannibal. Because of karmic law, these people have to let us know, okay? Whether that be through entertainment, whether that be through little sneak, like not sneak disses, but what's the opposite of sneak diss? Subliminals. We love you too, Hannibal. Whether it be through subliminals that they say in their little speeches, whether it be through anything, any form of medium, they have to let us know, because it's part of karmic law, okay? Because they're not going to succeed in what they wanted to do if they don't adhere to the karmic law. Maybe I used the Moorish flag. Somebody throw up the Moor flag. Somebody throw up the Moor flag. Let's see if they They blocking that, or it might just be on Hannibal. I made him a mod, so it seems like his comments are coming in now. Somebody throw up the more flags. Let me see. Maybe they are blocking that. I see it now, Hannibal. Someone who don't got a wrench. Ain't do with the turban. All right, so yes, so that's I kind of like touched upon a little bit of the keys that people kind of need to research, right? To if they're just now getting into this consciousness movement, the few things that they need to research, but they also need to research. They also need to research, you know, the spiritual side of it, because that is very important. Salam, beloved Cherub Moors. I love you all was my original message. So having that spiritual side is definitely keys, because you cannot be conscious and be unconscious of how much the spirituality, you know, fits into this movement. Now I see like everybody else is gone. What happened? Is YouTube messing up on my channel? Because I don't see nobody. It says 0 people on my channel. And I know that's not right. YouTube be lying, boy. So yes, so if you are not on that spiritual level, if you do not have no type of spiritual, we are here. Bless up, Sahar. You know, YouTube be liking to mess with people, especially with me. They didn't mess with my channel forever. You know, ever since I posted up that state police video. Mine is showing 5 people in here. Mine's showing 0. All right, so yeah, so if you don't have that spirituality side, you cannot call yourself conscious. You cannot, you know, because being conscious, you have to be aware of how much that kind of plays into it. And the Europeans are aware. Let me tell you that right now. The Europeans are aware. And like I said, the Europeans kind of had this conspiracy consciousness movement on lock. And the stuff that they were talking about 10 years ago is the stuff that we're just now starting to talk about. I'm, you know, just now starting to see people talk about, you know, Zionism and HARP and chemtrails and GMOs and Monsanto, and you know, so all these things, and that's okay, because we all come into it at, you know, at our own pace. But at the same time, you can't sit there and disregard or knock somebody for not being aware when you yourself weren't aware, you know, however long ago. You know what I'm saying? So we all have to help each other out. But only if we're receptive to it. We often are on an info delay. Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't have your receptors open, you're not going to be able to receive that information on a timely manner. Okay? You're going to receive it, you know, it's like when somebody's watching something on HD versus somebody watching something on analog, right? There's the delay in time that we're getting it. And that's what's happening with us. We have, you know, digital receptors while others have analog receptors. And that's the kind of simplest way I can, you know, explain it to y'all. They know what's coming. Yes, but we live in an information era. We live in an information era. Yeah, we kind of block it, because, like I said, all the stuff, all the frequencies, you know, all the you know, the music, the food that was in the water that we drink, all of that is made to block our receptors, you know, to keep our pineal gland shut down, to keep our consciousness, you know, just on a surface level where we're just, you know, we're thinking about is sex tapes, and you know how Black China doesn't know how to give head, and you know how this person is fighting this person, and you know, just all the little stupid stuff. Still here listening. My video was always delayed. It's probably me. When I get back from Japan, my lives should be okay. That's another thing. On the island here, we don't have FiOS. We're still on like the dial up thing, the one below FiOS. We don't have the fiber optics. We have the, I forget what else it's called. Was it cable? Is it cable the one below fiber optics? Anyways, we don't have the highest form of, you know, internet connection, internet speed, or I'm not really techie like that, but I know we don't have the fiber optics here on the island. So when I get back to the States, you know, we should be good to go, and then we'll be on the same time frame. That goes to my point back to my point about remedial topics. Yes, when we're talking about, you know, the trash head game and all that stuff, where okay, yeah, it's entertainment for a second, but again, no, my Wi-Fi is in and out, so every time it buffers on my end and pushes the video back. Oh. when we talking about these topics, it's like we have to remember that it's always a distraction, that they're always distracting us from something. We have to figure out what that something is, right? So Barrett brought it up to my attention that you know, they did research into the genome of the people in the Caribbean islands and found that the genetics of the Tainos are still around, right? Or they haven't been extinct. And I was talking to my friend John, and he was talking about, you know, all the Tainos are extinct, da, 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 da. And then I spoke to him, and I'm like, no, they're not, because look, they just researched this, and they just found that it was a lie. Again, so that came out around the same time that this whole Black China thing, you know, came out. So, and it could be a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. There's no such thing as a coincidence, right? There's no such thing as a coincidence. It's timing and luck, and this time again, it's not. It's got nothing to do with luck, because these people really control every facet of our lives, right? And they control the media. They control the people in the media, and it's all too easy for them to take footage that happened months ago and release it at an opportune time, right? So these people keep stuff stacked. So we have to kind of be aware and keep our eyes open for whenever something is happening in the media, especially these false flags. Whenever these false flags is happening, we always have to keep an eye out for what laws or what resolutions and ordinances and regulations that they're putting forth. You know, on the table in the Senate, or what they already passing, because I forgot what was going on the time of NDAA, but I remember the Senate wasn't able to, like, they released it. The Senate wasn't able to read it. It was like late ass at night, probably like, you know, 2 people read it out of the whole Senate, just like Cameron versus Mace. Why did that beef even occur? Facts, like, first of all, the level of the, you know what I'm saying? So we always gotta, you know, the Remy Ma and Nicki beef, and now the Cardi B and Nicki beef, and now Nicki Minaj is missing, and everybody's wondering, like, who cares where she went? Who cares? Who really cares? I don't care. Why is that pertinent to your life? Why is that pertinent to your life? Why is people having babies? People have been having babies for thousands of years. Why is this one specific person having a baby? Why is that pertinent to your life? Why is it so important? Why does your world need to stop for it? You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand the psychology that's being played here, right? Because if you don't understand psychology, you don't understand the psyops that's being perpetrated against you. Distractions, yes. More comedy says, to go back what you was talking about before this topic, food is information, and the info we put in our second brain called the stomach is important. That's why I feel we get info later than others. It's the food. They know the populace worship celebrity and vicariously live through them. It says King. Yes, exactly. Because we all want to have that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, they didn't have to do much. Before this information age, before this, social media age, you had to put in a lot of work before you got famous, right? You had to go through hoops, you had to do a whole bunch of stuff to get famous. And even if you were famous in one circle, you wasn't famous, worldwide or nationwide. Now all you got to do is upload something on Twitter and have it go viral, and then you're all of a sudden famous worldwide, right? So that's why you have these people like Logan Paul who are so-called famous worldwide, right? Because of a dumbass video that they have on YouTube. So is that kind of mentality that's kind of stopping us. And yes, I believe the food is also something, because if you look at somebody who just eats trash all day, right? Who just eats trash all day, morning, noon, and night, they got McDonald's and Burger King and all these things, right? They are less likely to be aware of what's going on around them. It's literally dumbing them down. You know what I'm saying? Literally, what that meme says, right? They got that fluoride stare, right? That fluoride stare when you talking about them, something conscious, and then they're just like staring at you like, what are you saying? And then you say something about fucking the Migos, and they're like, oh yeah, that shit was hot. Like, where are you? Are you in or you out? Like, are you with me? Are you here? Are you here? Lights on, but nobody's home. Yeah, I told you he gets amped. Micah gets amped every time I be talking about this type of stuff. Infinity fluoride eye plant. Listen here. It's crazy how people are just now getting into this when this information has always been out here. So things for y'all to get into, right? And it doesn't have to be in any type of order, because I know if you search one thing, and if you really do the research, not just go on Google and read a few articles, because first of all, when you go on Google's algorithms are already going to mess it up to where they're going to make you see what they want you to see, right? So try this. Open up a Google tab, open up a Yahoo tab. What's another search engine? Open up a Bing tab, right? And put in the same phrase or same thing, whatever you wanna research, right? Put it in those 3 tabs on Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Yes, Bing. Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Put that phrase or word, whatever you want to research, and see how many different links that you get. You're gonna get completely different link from Google than you're gonna get from Yahoo than you're gonna get from Bing. Okay. So you can't just go onto, and this is what the lazy researchers do. They'll go onto Google, they'll get the first thing that's not a wiki, because everybody knows now Wikipedia, right? We can see when it's a wiki thing. So they'll go on to the first non-Wikipedia page, and that's the truth, right? That's the realness. That's what I'm gonna copy and paste and put on my Instagram page and spit it as truth. So we gotta do more than that. And like I said, when I got into it, the internet was out there, YouTube, I did my fair share of YouTube research, but I also bought the books. Like, people really Micah, faz tempo. Why do you keep going over there? Oh my God, this baby's gonna give me a heart attack. People must remember these are front campaigns for the CIA. Exactly. So, and they know that we don't like to read. They know that. So all the information, the Europeans like to read. The Europeans will read all day. You'll see them at Starbucks. And people will be like, yo, you read all this? Like, that's a big ass book. And how many pages is it? Oh my God, I can't believe that I can't read that much. That's too much. Like, yo, if you really into it, if you really craving the knowledge, that 1,000-page book is not gonna be nothing to you. That 1,000-page book is gonna be cookies. It's gonna be chips. You know what I'm saying? Micah. They say they don't have time. They say it's not a priority, right? It's not a priority for them to read because they can go on YouTube, not knowing that YouTube, you know what I'm saying, you have COINTELPRO operatives who's putting out their information on YouTube, who's putting out their information on Google. You know what I'm saying? These people don't play games. Like I said, they own all of this stuff. They own all of this stuff, and they know that our people don't read. So they don't got to worry about the books. But don't take that as they not watching. You know what you putting into your Amazon cart. They watching what you putting into your Amazon cart. We study till 3 a.m. fam, knowing I have to be working. Exactly. Me and Bear were up till 3 a.m. talking about money. Literally just doing research on just money, going through the law dictionary and getting the definitions of money, of currency, of Federal Reserve note, of bonds, of what else was it? Federal Reserve Act. Man, listen, I'm my laptop is sitting on it. Fiat, yes, fiat. So notes galore, right? Notes galore, and this is what our people do not do, right? This is research. That's what's called research. I had to read a lot of books when the IRS was coming after me. and not just that, like, see, we just did definitions that day, and then through those definitions, I was making the connections myself, cause you know I got a brain, like we all got brains, right? So you can make those connections yourself when you're doing that type of in-depth research. And I even told you, Barrett, right? Like, I can see why people don't want to do this or just want to copy and paste, because this is work. This is a lot of work. Like, when I was sitting there taking my notes, doing my other research, I was like, damn, I feel like I'm back in school. I got like books out here. I got the dictionary out. I got these two type of books, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm just going in, because this is how serious this is for me, right? And it's always been this serious, but now that I'm trying to do this platform with the YouTube, and now that I'm doing other things, for the people, that I'm not gonna say, but know that it is happening, and know that y'all will know when it's happening, when it pops off. But this is what I'm doing it for. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer just for me, just for my knowledge. Now it's for everybody else. Okay. So I'd be at the park reading, European be stopping me and looking at my book. Shit be mad disrespectful, man. You're like, damn, they're not supposed to be able to read. Now, they got to find, just like how we, right, we'll have so-called Black Twitter, and you to be part of Black Twitter, you got to be a part of Black Twitter. You know what I'm saying? You got to be into those hashtags. You got to follow those people to get into Black Twitter. That's kind of like, that's what books are to the Europeans, right? Books are the European Twitter, where we won't know anything that's going on because they got it in the book. So yes, and then also have the discretion that what these Europeans are telling you in these books, some of them really break their necks, like the so-called black man see a girl with an ass. For real though, for real. Like, imagine one of them walking by and seeing me read this, right? They're like, yo, what is that? What is she reading? Or even the back cover. This back cover is lit. Like, who's in the chains? Are we in the chains? Or is that us? This is us, right? With the feathers on? Enslaving the Europeans? Right? Like, that's rude, yo. I'm in my space colonizer. Right? We're not even gonna call them Europeans anymore. They're now colonizers. They're the colonizers now. But yeah, but we also have to have the discretion, right? That when these Europeans, hey Dave, thank you. I got the shrinkage going on for real, right? I got the shrinkage going on for real. So we have to have the discretion that the Europeans are gonna write what they're writing from their perspective. They're gonna write what they're writing from their perspective. So have that discretion and know that that's what they're doing. Because the information that they're stealing is from us. And they're just gonna write it from their, like, they're gonna rewrite our history like they always do. So even with these books that I get from the Europeans, I'm always like, are the ancient Egyptians you? Are these extraterrestrials, these blue-eyed blonde hairs, these Nordics, right? Because forgot what parts I was reading in here, and they was talking about, oh, the Nordics, they went to Africa, and that's how the Africans, they already seen we was cave beasts and shit. You're stupid. The Nordics went to Africa, and they called them the something, and when the Europeans came back to Africa, we thought that they were the gods returning. Like, again, writing themselves as gods in higher perspective, when it was actually the opposite, right? It was actually the opposite. They were the ones that worshipped us, and they were the ones that thought we were the gods. We didn't think they were the gods. We knew they weren't the gods. We knew how they got here. You know what I'm saying? So always have discretion when you're reading this. And that's why it's so important to kind of fund our own authors and get the material from our own authors, right? And when I mean from our own authors is people, not just of the Moor, right? Like, but any one of them, Ivan Van Sertima, right? He wasn't just talking about the Moors, but during his research, the Moors came up. That's what happens, right? When you're doing, honest research, you're not going to leave out something because it doesn't fit what you're trying to preach. It doesn't fit your paradigm. When you're doing honest research, you're going to, present everything that you're researching. So that's what I mean when I'm saying, supporting or buying the and it's not always us, right? Sometimes it's the Europeans that are doing the honest research and that are reporting a lot of things about the Moors, what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I'm saying, support our own. Because whether you want to believe it or not, the Europeans, they are us, right? They are us, right? Because there's only one race, and that's the human race. They are Moors too. They just, they just amalgamated Moors. They lost, a lot of their melanin. So they forgot ourselves. And then we, in turn, we enslaved them, right? We treated them like they were subhumans. Yeah, our sons and daughters. I would say stepsons and daughters, right? Because we were the evil step parents at the time. We treated them like subhuman. We made them slaves. We said they couldn't read. We said they couldn't practice our religion. We did all of that to them first, okay? So remember when I'm saying let's be honest about ourselves, honest about our history. I used to hate them. Now I just pity them. But here's the thing. Used to hate them, pity them. Now I understand them. I understand why they're in the position that they're in, right? Not only did we give them the keys to get into this position, but we get in our karmic retribution back, right? because we treated them that way. That's why they're treating us this way. But here they did us one better. They did us one better, right? Because we allowed them to remember who they are. They did not allow us to remember who we are. They stripped us from that, and that was that power. Whether you want to call it the reptilians, whether you want to call them, that bloodline, the Martians, whatever you want to call them. Okay, they found an opening and they're running with it. Nugget is out of control out here. Is being extra. All right, so any comments or questions or anything like that? I kind of dropped little keys. I didn't tell people exactly what to research. I gave them little reference points you could research with. What up, M? Let the Europeans say we were slave first, the outrage from the sleepy. Exactly, or let the Europeans, because we get backlash from trying to tell our people that, hey, all of us ain't from Africa. A lot of us was here first already. People hate that. How are you gonna say we not from Africa? See, you talk about the white man. They try and disconnect us from Africa. They try and divide us. Nah, I didn't say anything about division. I didn't say anything about division. I just said specifically that, we ain't all from Africa. They robbed us at the convenience store 7-Eleven. I mean, I see what you tried to do, but it wasn't at 7-Eleven that they robbed us. It was at 1942 they robbed us, and then at 1724 that they robbed us, and 1787 that they robbed us, and 1860 that they robbed us. Again, more little points for y'all to be, researching. Y'all new jacks, the new jacks in the conscious community. They are mad because we abandoned their hard-headed tails. They're lucky, though, because they're going to amalgamate before they go extinct to miss out on the angry more slavery. But here's this, right? Another gem for these people. So everything that happens, know that it happens for a reason. I know, super cliche, I'm sorry, but it's true, okay? Because everything is on a divine path, okay? Whether you want to believe it or not. Yes, we have the ability to pick and choose, tweak it here and there, but overall, it's a divine path that we're on, and nothing can deviate us from this divine path. So whatever happens now and further on is happening for a reason. And this whole greenhouse gas, this whole global warming thing, it's 70 degrees in Boston in the middle of February, and then the next day it's snowing. Know that it's happening for a reason, okay? Because not only are they can't get their birth rate up, right? These Europeans can't get their birth rate up to save their life, literally. But also, we're coming to a time where the earth is going to be heating up again. The sun is going to be out. It's going to be hot, and is your body going to be able to handle that genetically, right? So genetic annihilation is not just coming through birth rate and them not being able to reproduce, but it's coming from the cosmic level, okay? Because it was snowing Sunday and 70 Wednesday, 75 Thursday. Yeah, and I know it's going to snow again this weekend. Well, in Boston, it's going to snow again this weekend. So they you know what I'm saying? They're knowing this. So why do you think they're doing all this chemtrail stuff, right? They're doing all this chemtrail stuff. They're doing all this weather manipulation, trying to block out the sun, because that's what's gonna kill them. That's what's gonna kill them. They cannot survive it. They cannot survive it. They're not built for this. They're not built for that life. Okay. So that's why you see a lot of them trying to procreate with melanated people, trying to procreate with the Asiatic Moors to preserve their children, because you're going to have a lot of melanin in you to survive what's coming next. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's another thing for y'all to research, y'all new jacks in the conscious, in this conscious thing, right? So, you know what I mean? I give y'all a little bit of here and there. You know what I'm saying? They might as well let us march them right back into the mountains. They'll enjoy eating each other. You not right, Barrett. You so messed up. You messed up. Yeah, the sun gonna set their ass on fire for real, for real. That's right now. Oh, you got heavy melanation nugget. You got heavy melanation nugget. You gonna survive. What can I read to catch me up on the cosmos and understanding it? Charles Darwin told him. He tried to tell him. So, definitely read books on sacred science, on sacred geometry. Read books on get this book called The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, also written by a European, but he said that he channeled Thoth. Again, here's another gem for y'all to be researching Thoth and stuff like that, and getting into the knowledge that he was dropping. And the Flower of Life, research that, the sacred geometry, start getting into to being familiar with pi and the golden ratio, and you know how that all fits into our reality, right? Because we can use that. This is what our ancient ancestors knew, right? Our ancient ancestors knew this information, and that's how they were able to do the great things that they were able to do. You know what I'm saying? Also get in books on meditation, and getting books on crystals, and learning about the properties and learning how you can use them. Those are things that I would suggest on getting. Again, like I said, you have to have the balance, right? The male and female energy, the logic and the creative, right? So all our logic about the harp and Zionism and you know chemtrails and GMOs and all that stuff, all that is not going to matter if we do not have the feminine energy to balance it out. And these people preaching, you know, oh, the Bible, you know, the Bible is the real thing, and the Torah and things. You know, I'm sorry, gotta call it the Hebrew Israelites, because I know we all they are the least favored, I would say, out of this conscious community. I've come to that consensus. I've asked a lot of people across the board, you know, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, can't stand with them Hebrew Israelites. It's, you know, because they preaching the dogma, and they're coming from emotionalism. They're not coming from facts. They're not coming from, you know, table that. Now my homie lineage is in Germany. All his brothers and sisters all have amalgamated with Moors. We laugh because they'll be back to all of you in 3 generations. Exactly. People call them the Power Rangers. Why would they call them the Power Rangers, King? Why would they call them the Power Rangers? I want to know the story behind that. The garbs. I don't. What do they be wearing? I've never actually seen any. All my contact between from Hebrew Israelites have been through Instagram and social media. Like, I've never seen that. King, I've heard that too. They just oh man. They like the Kool-Aid cult. White, purple, red, yellow. Now I gotta do some research on this, because I want to get the joke. I don't want to be left out. That's what they wear. The Power Rangers. That's messed up though, because the Power Rangers was lit. That was part of my childhood. We're not gonna give them that much credit. That's what I'm saying, Nugget. We can't give them that much credit. So-called white people are the putties to them. The putties? What is the putties? Wow, you hit with all you had at once. Intimidation. I'm going to start with sacred geometry. Yeah, thanks, David. That's how someone explained them to me when they didn't know what they called themselves. It's Morphin Time turns into the King James Bible. I hate you so much, Barrett. I hate you. The gray creatures. What? But all right, y'all. I'm gonna have to get out of here. Nugget needs to change. It's his nap time. Um, it was a relative. I didn't go as long as I did usually, but this was just like a little touching point for them. Um, yeah, these live sessions are gonna be far and few between. I got a lot of research to do. I gotta, keep up on my writing and stuff like that. I've been in a writing slump for like months now. Well, not months, probably like 8 months. I've been in a huge writing slump. So if y'all would please send me some creative energy, please. Say Fox needs some creative energy. She needs to get her creativity out like that. Lion of Judah is their Megazord. I'm loving all these references. Y'all be coming with it. Y'all be killing me. I mean, I got a friend who's a Hebrew Israelite, so I know if he ever see this video, he gonna be mad. I don't care though. It's true. All right, peace and love, y'all. Thanks for coming in and chilling with me, all the time and having a good time and stuff like that. So I'm gonna see y'all on the flip side.